Welcome to Diary War Global, where we plunge into the heart of the world's fiercest conflicts, revealing the raw truth of war and the unbreakable spirit of those who endure it. Today, we take you to the fiery front lines of Ukraine's Lyman, a sector where Russian forces face catastrophic losses. Ukrainian ingenuity outsmarts the enemy, and the war's shockwaves ripple far beyond the battlefield, striking fear into the heart of Russia itself. In the Lyman sector, the Zerabetz River runs red with the cost of Russia's ambition. A single pontoon crossing became a graveyard for Russian armor, a BM21 Grad rocket launcher, a 152mm howitzer, a BTR-82A, and more obliterated by Ukrainian precision. FPV drones and barrel artillery carved craters into the earth, turning Moscow advance into a smoldering ruin. Social media platform X lit up with images of the wreckage, shared by a Ukrainian Marine known as Kresfor, exposing Russia's desperate gamble and its devastating price. But the story doesn't end there. In Lyman, Ukraine's 63rd Mechanized Brigade stands as an unbreakable wall, wielding ancient Roman tactics with a modern twist. Using drones to scatter caltrops spiked traps that puncture tires and halt advances, they've turned forests and fields into deadly choke points. Russian infantry, forced onto motorcycles and ATVs due to dwindling armor, face a merciless fate. For every Ukrainian lost, 66 Russian soldiers fall, a staggering kill ratio that echoes Ukraine's tactical brilliance and unyielding resolve across the Zerabetz River. Russia's dreams of capturing Lyman crumble for over 2 years. Their overstretched forces have failed to break through, now redirecting their dwindling resources to Tossk, hoping to salvage their crumbling logistics. But Ukraine's defenders, backed by the natural fortress of reservoirs and dense forests, hold firm. The 63rd Brigade's mastery of terrain turns every Russian assault into a slaughter, proving that courage and cunning can outmatch even the mightiest foe. Far from the front lines, the war's reach grows longer. Ukraine's daring strikes pierce deep into Russian territory, grounding flights and sowing chaos. Aeroflot, Russia's largest airline, reels from a massive cyber exposing Moscow's fragile technological sovereignty. Hackers breached sensitive data, stranding passengers and crippling operations. Russian propagandists who once boasted of self-reliance now rage online as their outdated West-independent systems collapse. As airports shut down and panic spreads, the Russian people begin to feel the war's bitter reality, a reality Ukraine has known all too well. Valery Ryabik, a military expert, speaks on Espresso TV. This war must end where it began, on Russian soil. Ukraine's strikes on logistics, fuel facilities, and production hubs aren't just tactical, they're psychological, forcing Russia to confront the chaos it unleashed. From the ashes of Lyman to the grounded plains in Moscow, Ukraine fights, not just for survival but to awaken a nation to the true cost of war. This is the story of Lyman, of Ukraine's unbreakable spirit, and of a war that shakes the world. Thank you for joining Diary War Global, where we uncover the untold stories, the hidden truths, and the glimmers of hope amidst the flames. Subscribe and share to spread the message of resilience and peace. We'll see you in the next chapter of Diary War Global.
In response, the 63rd Brigade has perfected a ruthless, cost-effective defensive strategy that has yielded a stunning kill-to-death ratio in their favor. The extraordinary figure indicates that for each Ukrainian soldier lost, Russian forces lose around 66 troops, a devastating statistic demonstrating Ukrainian tactical superiority in the area. Key to Ukraine's remarkable defensive success here is the innovative revival of ancient Roman warfare tactics, particularly the widespread use of caltrops. Historically, Roman soldiers employed caltrops, metal devices designed with spikes, positioned in all directions as highly effective area denial tools. Placed on roads, fields, or forest pathways, caltrops punted enemy horses' hooves, forced troops into open, vulnerable spaces, and slowed advancing units significantly, enabling Roman forces to saturate their exposed enemies with projectiles. Now, the Ukrainian 63rd Brigade applies this ancient tactic, using drones to disperse modern versions of caltrops across Russian assault paths. Unlike traditional mines, caltrops are inexpensive, safe to deploy remotely, and difficult to detect through drone surveillance.
Russians need to experience the reality of war. Specific actions by the Ukrainian military should force a total shutdown of air travel over parts of Russia, and that would really make an impact. Valery Ryabik, military expert and Defense Express Development Director, stated this on Espresso TV. These efforts, particularly those aimed at bringing the war onto the territory of the Russian Federation, which, in fact, started it, must continue, and this is the way to end this war. Because it should end where it began. And, of course, the first such signal for the Russian Federation itself is the reaction of the population, which in some cases still does not understand the nature of what is happening, he said. In Ryabika's opinion, they may come to understand this through their own experiences. Such strikes, which are now being carried out by our defense forces, primarily include the destruction of the enemy's logistics near the front line, the destruction of the enemy's ability to produce means of warfare deep inside their territory. Also, for example, the destruction of the enemy's hydrocarbon facilities so that they cannot supply their army and receive foreign currency to continue this war, the expert emphasized. He believes that the most important thing is that all these actions lead to a psychological effect. As for what is happening now, the closure of connections at airfields, the introduction of so-called carpet plans, which were implemented in many areas of the Russian Federation over the weekend, such actions should lead to a complete closure of air traffic over a certain part of Russian territory, and this will be effective, Ryabik concluded. Recall, one of Russia's largest companies, Aeroflot, has been hit by a massive cyber attack. Hackers said they had gained access to all of the airline's internal documentation, including passengers' personal data and employees' official correspondence. The results of the attack were painful, according to reports from Russian Telegram channels. Some planes were unable to take off, hundreds of flights were cancelled, and panic broke out at airports. Passengers were stuck in their seats, and Aeroflot itself found itself in a digital collapse. In addition to technical vulnerability, the situation revealed other unpleasant moments for Moscow. Russian propaganda has been talking about technological sovereignty, import substitution, and unique Russian software for years. Z propagandists on social networks do not hide their indignation. Fighter Bomber complains about the almost complete absence of domestic developments in the technological and digital structure of a large company. He found only one Russian development in Aeroflot. It is noted that Russian dictator Vladimir Putin regularly talks about technological sovereignty, which, as it turns out, is not. His colleagues, other propagandists, also got it. The author recalled how they talk about the best in the world and independent Russian IT, software development, etc. In reality, it turned out that all this software is Western and extremely poorly protected. Besides, this software is ancient and full of holes, like the memory of patriots of Russia, they write online.